woman, and happy new year, everyone. We're here with the beautiful and amazing Robin Meyers, which many of you recognize from so many of the Fearless Women's Summits. How are you today, Robin?
I am awesome, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. So we are so blessed to have Robin because not only has she spoken at many of the events, but she's ran so many events for us, and we couldn't have done all the events that we did in the USA in 2019 without her. So thank you, Robin, for everything that you've done for one woman and making our USA events possible. We just couldn't have done it without you.
It's been a pleasure. I thank you for the opportunity. It's opened a whole new world. I love emceeing.
Yeah. It's a different. It's different than just speaking. Is really being able to introduce everyone and also making the crowd feel welcome. And you do such a good job with that. I've heard so many women who talk about you when they email me afterwards and say, there was this lovely lady there, or Robin told me. And I say, yes, Robin's a good lady to ask the questions to, for sure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So Robin, you've had an exciting year, and we met on the, you speaking at a Fearless event. And I'm just curious as to where did that come from that you wanted to be a speaker?
You started my career, didn't you? I really wanted to, I realized I had to tell my story, and in order to get my own jitters out and in order to really learn to, I guess, refine my message and refine the tools. I mean, it really is it's a learning curve, to be honest. I had to try it, and I figured, well, where haven't I gone in the world? And let me find an organization that I believe in. And I met you, and I love what you do and what you stand for. And I was like, I never went to Victoria, Canada, so here I go. And it started ever since then.
You got the bug.
I got the bug.
Yeah, and it was exciting because you spoke the first year on the Victoria stage and the Montreal stage. Yeah. And then we touched base because the thing was that we stayed in contact, and you said you really need to bring this to the United States. And I'd done lots of events across Canada, never did an event in the USA. And I thought, well, if you'll help me, I'll basically travel anywhere. So that's how that began. But then when you came to the next year when you were going to be speaking, which I think the first event we did was in San Francisco, you said, Charlotte, you're going to be pleasantly shocked with my talk. And you really invested the time, because I thought you were a wonderful speaker that first year, but wow, you just blew me out of the water in terms of how much you developed, your speaking skills, delivering a message flawlessly. So kind of what was that process like for you to, really refine your art of speaking?
Thank you. You know what? It's an art. I invested a lot of time and money and really learning what your message is and what makes you different. And it does come down to your story, but you have to be willing to tell the whole story. And there were bits and pieces that it took me a long time to let go of. And I remember people commenting that they loved my story, but there was this gap, like a 25-year gap, which was a chunk of my life that I didn't really want to expose. And not that anything bad happened. It was just that I didn't see the sequence through it, or to me, it wasn't important, but it was, because it was my through line of my story and my life. And it made me tell my story clearer, with more clarity, and with purpose. And so my message really has gotten very refined. And as you know, when you can reach even that one person in the audience, it makes such a difference, because you're doing something right. So I've done a lot of classes, speaking training, salons, and performances, and lots of talks, and from small to big. And you've given me a great platform to do that on.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And also, I think it's important that you said that in terms of just seeing the value in your story and what a lot of us will see as insignificant or not important. But when you share that, how you can impact and change an audience. And I've seen that thousands of times with women who share their story, and how women then connect afterwards. And now it's like, you've given them permission to also be able to share their story, and that those things are important, that they are relevant, and that we can glaze over things where it was like, oh, well, I was just a mom during that time, or, I was just,
Exactly.
working that whatever job. And, it's all the pieces of the puzzle that makes you who you are today, and how each of those are so important for us as women. And I think I guess that's what I loved about the changes in your talk. Like you had said, the missing pieces. And then when you put that all together, how beautifully it flowed together, and just seeing the impact of that, and the response from the audiences to your talk. It was just beautiful for me to watch. I think I cried a few times.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know I did something when you cried. That's good.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, I'm a scientist, in my previous years of life. But telling that story also gave me credibility to continue to tell this story. So again, it was something I brushed under the table, but it's important. So
Yeah, for sure. And the other point that you had mentioned, which I think is so important, is the fact that you invested in that and to become a great speaker. And I think that a lot of women will hesitate in terms of spending the funds or the money to really develop a skill and to become really great at something. And that's a really important thing to do, because it's hard to just do it on your own, or just to get up there and wing it. Because I've watched people get up there and just try to wing it, and I don't think they always get the results that they're looking for. So was that a hard decision for you to make, to invest in yourself to become such a great speaker?
in the early years, it was, a couple of years ago, I did question that, like many women do. I did question, should I put out this amount of money for me? And but it's what I teach women now, right? We're worth it, and in order to do what we want to do, we have to invest in ourselves. And so it's so important that we take that time and we find the resources to do it. And there's resources out there. And that's what I find, like, my mission is to help people realize that, that we've served everybody else for so long, that to do it right. And you have to invest in yourself. It wasn't easy, because you do feel the guilt and you do second guess yourself, but that's where we have to quiet all that negative noise and the bad talk and all that sort of stuff, and really learn to trust who we are and go for it, because we're better for everybody else when we do take care of ourselves. And I notice now that I really know who I am and my message, and I'm much clearer in the conversation. Clients are coming to me easier because they know who I am, and I can help much better. I can help quicker. I can help more succinctly.
Yes. And even making those connections in the industry, because, once you hire a coach or go to one of the speaking salons or schools, doing all that, you meet people who are in the industry who are also booking speaking engagements, all that kind of stuff, that it opens doors as well, so, the return on your investment often comes back tenfold. And it really is investing in your education. Maybe we don't think twice about it when you're going off to college. You spend thousands and thousands of dollars on that education, and maybe you don't even do that anymore, or you hate doing it every day. But then women find it hard to then spend the money on doing what they want, what they love, and what they dream of doing. And why is that, do you think, that as we get older, we get more hesitant as to then following that dream and spending that money?
It's a very good point that you bring up, though. I think we get comfortable and complacent in a way. And I don't mean that negatively. I think it's just, some of it's societal, some of it's the role we're supposed to play. And I really feel like we're taking from others, right? Whether it's our family or a parent or something like that, like we're not in that role. And it really takes time, that self-awareness. We're not taught self-awareness. We're not taught how to trust ourselves. We're so busy in the running and the doing that we don't take time to just sit and be present and really ask ourselves the hard questions, like, are you doing what you want to do? Are you happy in who you are? Do you love yourself? Do you trust yourself? Those things that we don't take that time often. So we get worried about what others are thinking, or am I an imposter? But the thing is, it comes down to who you are in your story, right? So when you authentically can tell your story, and as you know, my story is pretty long. I'm as raw and honest, and I will answer any question anybody asks me. Any part that they want clarification on, even if it feels a little uncomfortable to me, I'm happy to share, because it might be that one little thing that lets somebody take that step forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing, is if we're all a little more braver, find that courage, that fearlessness to just do it and go for it, how it can change and how quickly it can change. Because from the first time you stepped on that stage till now, I'm sure you've seen massive differences in your own life, and that you do this full time. Like, this is your career. This is what you do, is you step on stages, you're paid well to speak on stages, you empower other women to be able to do the same and live the life that they dream of. So what does that feel like, going from being scared to take that first step to where you are right now?
I love it. I love it. I love where I'm at right now. 2019 was great, and 2020 will be even better, just because I know where I'm headed. What really helped me kind of put it in perspective was not necessarily being concerned or worried about getting on stage, going from the angle of serving. And I think that's how I run my business in my life, is that I like to serve and I like to give. And so when you're serving and your message is serving others, it makes it a whole lot easier to step out onto a stage.
Yes, absolutely. And also to make that income, because you're coming from an authentic and honest place. It's not like you're trying to sell widgets to people,
right?
Which you don't even like the widgets to begin with. You're sharing your own story, and you're helping women also to be able to do that, which is absolutely amazing. So, and you don't just speak on, fearless stages, even though you spoke at many of those. You had a real highlight this year of the most amazing TEDx talk. So tell me about what that experience was, being accepted for that first TEDx talk and stepping onto that stage.
Thank you. 2019, it was a goal of mine to take a TEDx stage. It really was. And that took a lot of time as well. But, and if you're going to take the stage, know that you have to invest the time, all angles of the coaching and the preparation and everything for it. So I applied to many. It's not the first application. I don't even remember how many I applied to, maybe 8, 10, I don't know. But you move through the one round to the next round to the next round. But Chelsea Park in New York City accepted my application, went through more interviews, but my talk was on the science of loneliness and isolation. And it was actually crazy and an awesome experience all at once. It really made me dig very deeply into sequencing, no pun intended, the molecular genetics in me, to really sequencing my whole life story and giving myself permission to just dump it all out in 7 minutes.
Yeah, well, that was the mind-blowing part, is that it seems so short, but it's so clear, like the clarity of the message and how it was delivered and stuff. It was brilliant. So we'll make sure that we put the link on there so everybody who's watching this can watch it, because yeah, it's a really wonderful TEDx talk, so well that it was picked up by TED.
I know.
Highlighted through their website, so you can watch it there as well, which was an exciting thing to happen.
So exciting. I thank you, Ted. I'm honored. That's all I can say. Not sure why. I mean, loneliness is a very big conversation to have right now, but thank you very much.
Yes, well, it's an amazing talk. So there's no doubt in my mind as to why they picked it, for sure.
Okay.
And you had a lot of other exciting things happen this year that you started getting involved with, one being retreats. So you gallivanted off. I know you came to Dublin with us and spoke on the Dublin stage, but right afterwards you were off to Italy, bringing a group of women for an entire retreat. Talk about that, because you're doing that now. You're bringing some women to Florida, I know, in the new year. So let's talk about that a little bit.
So, my business model, Navigate to Empower, my business itself, when I started it, I've always wanted to do retreats. It's been there. My business, I think it's 5 or 6 years old. I don't know. However, I knew this past year it was going to start. Like, when it's right, it was right. I partnered with a wonderful woman, Leslie Ender from Street View Adventure Travel. And the beauty is she is the destination logistic expert, and I got to be the retreat expert of my material. So We were in Tuscany in October for 7 days, maybe 8. We stayed longer. We had to set up and then, of course, debrief. But
Yes.
we had 8 incredible women, the most diverse group from around the world. I mean, we had Austria, we had Germany, we had Florida, Jersey, New York, people from everywhere. So it was really a cool group of women, various transitions of different sorts going on in their lives. And to watch people, only 2 women knew each other, and to watch people just mesh together so easily was really great. I hope they all do this, to be quite honest. Great group of women. And we talked about, what's holding us back and how do we want to live our best life and what we're letting go of. And then we worked through my FEAR method, which is forgive, if I can spell, forgive, emerge, accept, and resolve. And every day we worked another step through and basically blueprinted where they were in their life and where they want to go. And so we included various activities within, several wine tasting excursions.
That's what it felt.
Several. And various cities. We went to 3 major cities, and it was absolutely fantastic. And then the last night and day and a half, we went back to Florence, where most people were leaving out of, and so moved into another place. But when you take people out of their environment and they can just totally emerge into something new and focus on them, to see the acceleration, even for me personally, to see the acceleration of clarity was incredible. So in February, we go to Florida, to a place called Alley's Beach, which is on the Gulf Coast, February 14th to the 23rd. And then in May, we go back to Tuscany to our spot. It's 650 acres on this family-owned vineyard.
Nice.
And then in July, we're going to Austria to a wellness center. And then next October, we'll go somewhere. So we'll do 4 retreats for 2020.
Love it. Love it. And I saw your pictures of Italy. They were absolutely stunning. I hope to make it on a retreat sometime. And I know the value of just unplugging to see clarity, to get clarity on those things. Because that's the thing, is that we often get in our regular everyday lives doing what we do every single day, and it's hard to see things any differently. And it's really how One Woman began, was just when I went to Ecuador, and I was literally unplugged because the community I went to didn't even have electricity. And you just have that time to just have real conversations, with people who are there, people who don't even know you. And, they're getting to know you, but you're also getting to know yourself,
Totally.
And that's the thing, is we lose sight of that a lot of times. And I always say the best way, if you're trying to figure things out in terms of what's my next right step, or making a big change or whatever, is to unplug and do something like that. Because, you're inspired by the people who are around you, a different atmosphere, all that kind of stuff. And you don't have all the everyday responsibilities and things that throw you off track all the time to get in your way, that you can just unplug and focus on that. So
exactly. And you focus on what your goals are, and you can really just concentrate,
yes,
just really concentrate. So yeah, it was stunning. I mean, this property was, obviously, grapes galore and olives, and it was stunning, great for hikes, and the weather was magnificent. I don't know if we'll get that again, but it was magnificent.
Nice. So where do people find information on the retreats? Do you have those up on your website, or are they on a different website, or?
Actually, it is on my website. That's the best place to go, robinjoymeyers.com.
Perfect.
But and that will link you to Street View Adventure Travel, so it'll link you right into the other website with all the details, and
awesome.
And then you'll see all of Leslie's retreats. But yeah,
awesome.
All there.
Great things to plan for 2020 for sure. And you do a lot of great coaching as well, really helping women to get from, just like the same process you went through, like where they are and where they really want to be. And so let's talk about some of the coaching that you do and some of maybe your mastermind groups that you have planned for this year. Because we talked about that in terms of how big of a piece accountability is, and being supported by people who care about your goals and your dreams and helping you get there.
Right. So I coach, let's start with this. I am a believer that we are one person. The same person that wakes up in the morning with a cup of coffee is the same person that shows up professionally, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a CEO. You're that same person. So your mindset has to be in the right place because it affects your productivity. It affects everything. So I coach on that clarity of, you know, how do you get into the right mindset, which begins like a morning routine sort of thing. I'm not a stickler for exactly how you structure the routine. I give you tools, but I give you the science behind that tool. I talk a lot about, fear that we use as this negative thing that holds us back, where there's a whole science behind it. This is where my science kicks back in. But the science behind fear is that fear should ignite us. And so I do believe it wakens us up, and it says something's going on. So pay attention and listen to it. So it's a good thing. We get to make a choice at that point. And that's why I think, listening to who we are. So I coach on the self-awareness and mindset and leadership and confidence, and really getting to know who you are and learning to really trust yourself. Your gut is telling you something. And so in my private coaching clients, we work through whatever transition you're at, and everything comes into it, right? Whether it's relationships, whether you're an empty nester, whether you're questioning, am I in the right job at the right time in the right city? It's kind of like, I just want people to know that you're fine and you're enough where you're at, but what do you want, and how to make the best life that you can have. The other side we were talking about is the mastermind groups. So what I'm going to offer for 2019 is
2020.
Yeah. Nope. 2019's done. Going for 2020 now.
Yeah.
What I'm offering for 2020 is a group mastermind, which I've done before. I have my own. I've been a part of some, but accountability is huge. And so I think we do get caught up in the daily routine. So whether we're a stay-at-home mom and we're trying to be an entrepreneur, or we're CEO, we still get caught up in the day-to-day stuff. So creating a mastermind where you're supported by like-minded people, where you have other people to talk to as well. You've given the tools to get your systems in order, to learn from others as to what works and what doesn't work. And part of being an entrepreneur is learning from the failures.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just have to be flexible, and you have to be ready to make a quick right-hand turn when it doesn't work. And I know, because I've done it. And, I think now I know exactly where I'm headed and how to now accelerate that. But 2020, it's big. So, I say to people, let's embrace it. It's going to be great. I do encourage people right now, what's left in the old year, look back and see where you were, what's worked, what didn't work, and why. And then what do you really, really want for 2020? Because now's the time to create it. Resolutions are great, but you need goals that will work. It's great to say, I want to lose 40 pounds, but that's kind of not really realistic. You need the stepping stones. So I like to give practical stepping stones. Mm-hmm. So the mastermind will be monthly, a call a week, monthly goals, and we just work through.
Yeah. And then, at the end of the year, you've gotten that much further ahead, or you've accomplished things or whatever, as opposed to being at the end of another year saying, I wanted to still do that one day, or, I need to still do that, and whatever. Like when you have that accountability of other people who's asking you, oh, last week you talked about how you were going to do this. How's that going? And
exactly.
Yes.
Because it's easy to push that aside, right? Exactly. And you'll say, oh, I can do it next week. But if you have someone to say, so did you get it done?
Yes.
And if not, why? Do you need help? Or did you just not get it done? And so it makes you feel a little more of a push to do it.
Yeah.
But we all know how quickly the years go by.
Yes.
I don't know
No,
about you, but 2019 went by fast.
it did. It was a flash. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just remember last, New Year's Eve and all that kind of stuff. So it goes by quickly, and you just don't want to waste a day. And I think that's the thing, is that when you're surrounded by people who are supporting you, encouraging you, holding you accountable, and it's a lot more fun. It's so much more
It's so
fun.
much more fun.
Yeah.
It's so much more fun. And find those people that are fun and do support you and enjoy it, because it's fun. It's really fun.
And the thing is that if you're not enjoying your goals, you maybe need some new ones, and you might need some people to kind of talk that through, because I think that's the biggest question that people have but don't always know the answer to is, what do you want? What do you want? Because
And
a lot of times, yes, people will,
you can't find that out until you sit and you really ask yourself that.
yes,
So, and it's not as easy as you would think to answer.
no. Yes, and also too, people describe, well, I just want to be happy. Well, what's going to make you happy?
What
Like
makes you happy?
yeah, like lots of times people will say the feelings that go along with that. I just want to have enough money. I just want to whatever. Well, what are the things that you need to do or want to do to be happy, to have
Right.
enough money, to feel fulfilled, to feel purposeful? What is it, the things that are in your heart that are calling you? What are the gifts that you've been given, and to explore those? And I think that that's a really powerful thing to be able to do in a group, because if you're feeling lost in that question, you have 8 or 9 other women who are asking you those questions to help you figure that out. And
Exactly. And you don't know their network, so my goal is to bring people together that not only can support each other, but then know somebody else. Like, my network has grown so much. And actually, some of my best connections have come from one woman,
yes,
really, from
yeah,
the Fearless Summit.
I always say those events have the best women at it. That's the best part of my job, is I meet the best women in the world. So
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
exactly. No, I think that's great that you're doing that in the masterminds. Robin's part of our One Woman Speakers Bureau, and that's available for women who've spoken at Fearless events, that do this full time, who want to be able to speak on stages and really be able to change the lives of others with their stories and with the gifts that they've been given. So if people are interested in booking Robin for an event, we're going to post the link as well, that you can definitely do that, whether you have your own event, whether it's a corporate thing, an event that you're putting on yourself, a fundraiser, whatever. Robin is very dynamic in terms of speaking and putting on conferences and helping and really motivating a crowd. She's really great at that. What is kind of your, I guess, key areas that you love to speak about, Robin?
My key areas are, I call them the 3 C's of life. You have a choice to take a chance to make a change. That's one of my key, like my signature talks, I think. Fear is your superpower, because it truly is. Mindset equals your productivity. And really the power of self, self-awareness, leadership grows your confidence, all of that goes together. So really how to expand on that,
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to quiet that negative talk, learning how to trust in yourself.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, people are looking for more information. We've got Robin's sizzle reel on our website. You'll see descriptions of her talks and all the information that if you're looking to book her for the event. We'll also include Robin's website, that if you're interested in any of the upcoming retreats, the mastermind group, coaching with Robin, it'll have all the information that you can connect with her and have one of the most supportive people that I know on your side for an amazing 2020, because I think we all need a friend like Robin, and to work with women like her. I have the pleasure to be able to say I work with Robin all the time. It's an important part of our Fearless events, and I'm blessed to have made that connection. So I encourage everyone that if you're looking for a really great coach or a mastermind group, that Robin will be your biggest cheerleader and your fan and help you get there along the way. So any last final thoughts that you want to leave with our viewers today, Robin?
I wish everybody the best and happiest new year, and safe and prosperous, and go into 2020, sit with it and just go in with clarity. You know, ask yourself, what do you really want? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to serve? And just know that it's possible. It's possible.
Absolutely. Love it. Awesome. Well, happy New Year, everyone. Thanks everybody for watching and tuning in with Robin and I today. And keep watching more on One Woman as we share with other amazing women from around the world. And hopefully we will also see you at a Fearless Women Summit. Robin and I will be kicking things off in Miami on January 25th. So if you're in Florida, come see us in Miami, Orlando, or Jacksonville. That's how we're kicking off our new year with our Fearless Women Summit. So make sure you come and see us, and we'd love to see you. So happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Bye.